BlakGooseTV family, what's good with it? Salute to y'all. I got some breaking news for y'all. We about to get right up into it. As you guys can see, when it comes to this article, it says Andy Ruiz Jr. to fight Luis Ortiz this summer. We're not talking about next year. We're not talking about 2 years from now. We're talking about this summer. And I know you guys are probably being like, what? How is that even possible? Like, bro, you just literally made a video a couple of days ago or yesterday, whenever it was, that Andy Ruiz is going to be fighting Tyrone Spong in Mexico City on Triller. So how is this even a realistic announcement? Are you giving us clickbait? Are you don't got no more content to talk about? Like, what are you doing right now, Fluence? This ain't the BlakGooseTV way of life. This ain't how you supposed to go about things. Well, I don't know anything more than y'all know at this point. So that's why I'm like, yo, let me make this video. I'm gonna read this article and hopefully I can get some information for me to understand what the fuck is going on. Cause like I'm being 100 with y'all. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know how they were able to, Triller itself was able to announce Andy Ruiz versus Tyrone Spong. And then literally a day later, we have PBC announcing Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. I've never seen this happen before. And if it has, it hasn't been this high profile for me to remember. So let's go ahead and find out what's going on. BlakGooseTV family. As always, if you come up in here, like, comment, subscribe, and show your boys some love because I'm giving you that shit that ain't nobody else giving you. You already know. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go down to this joint. This is from Boxing News 24. It's written by Dan Ambrose. Andy Ruiz Jr. will now be fighting Luis King Kong Ortiz in the summer rather than Tyrone Spong on July 16th. On Wednesday, Triller announced the Ruiz vs. Spong fight to be shown on pay-per-view from the 80,000-seat Plaza de Toros in Mexico City, Mexico. ESPN is reporting that the former unified heavyweight champion Ruiz had already signed a deal to face the two-time world title challenger Luis Ortiz. So remember, in the particular video I dropped, when it came to the announcement of Andy Ruiz and Tyrone Spong, a day later, I went ahead and dropped what Luis Ortiz had to say about it. Luis Ortiz was very upset. He said, man, he's a coward. How are you going to say you wanted to fight me? We had everything in set and in playing in motion for us to have the fight. And now all of a sudden you're talking about you're fighting Spong on Triller. Now, me personally, when I thought to myself, I was like, okay, Luis Ortiz, you can be upset. That's fine. But what didn't make sense to me was Andy Ruiz is contractually obligated to PBC. PBC never lets their fighters do a cross promotion when it comes to an actual fight, unless it's that motherfucking massive, i.e. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Other than that, everything usually stays in-house for the most part, unless they can, create a deal where, they're the parent company for how the pay-per-view is broadcast, etc. So when I saw Triller announce that, I was like, and you guys could watch the video, I was like, I wish I was, reading the article rather than actually, watching the video on the announcement, because the article will let me understand how was Triller able to snipe Andy Ruiz from PBC when he's contractually obligated to PBC. That didn't make any sense to me. And now everything I was thinking is like, well, he was right. He was right, Fluence. I'm like, that shit don't add up. So for some reason, Ruiz and his team signed a deal to fight Luis Ortiz. But then afterwards he must have been presented with so much money from Triller that he said, ain't no way I'm not going to sign this deal with Spong. I got to sign. I'm getting paid way more for this. But it's like his team had to know that you can't do that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But let me get into it. I'm talking about speculation too much when we got the facts right here. So once again, ESPN is reporting that the former unified heavyweight champion Ruiz had already signed a deal to face the two-time world title challenger Luis Ortiz before he signed to face Spong on July 16 on Triller. It's unclear whether the 32-year-old Ruiz informed Triller Fight Club that he had already signed to face Ortiz in the summer. You would like to think that Ruiz would have told Triller this particular information, but who knows? Maybe he did tell Triller, and Triller was like, hey, we don't give a fuck. We want you to sign here. We got a lot of money. We'll make it happen. We'll make it work. Whatever we got to do to get you out of the Ortiz fight, we will do it. Let's just get your signature on this joint. And look, I'm in the business, me personally, where I work, I'm in the business where shit like that happens all the time. Hey, I know you contractually obligated to this person, but if they're not doing what you said they was going to do, or maybe I got some more money, just sign with me and we're going to figure it out. Right? So, did Ruiz forget that he already signed with Ortiz? Of course not. Him and his team, we're talking about $1 million team. You know what I'm saying? You don't forget something like that. As you would guess, Ortiz was hopping mad after learning that Ruiz had chosen not to fight him, despite the two having a deal, because it's a fight that he wanted. And, you guys already know I dropped that, video where the Cuban fighter, obviously, Luis Ortiz called him a coward. But let's see what the Triller Fight Club president has to say. We are working amicably with PBC to make sure Ruiz honors his obligations to both parties. Had we known PBC intended to fight him prior, we would have never chosen this date. We enjoy a good relationship with PBC, and we are currently working to identify an optimal date for rescheduling the fight. The date Triller lands on will be in collaboration with PBC and their calendar. To be sure, Ortiz is a far tougher fight for Ruiz and Spong, and it could end badly for the former heavyweight champion. Okay, so that's this whole thing is just weird. You know what I'm saying? And this shit. Here we go. Promoter Eddie Hearn saw it as weird that Ruiz had signed to fight Spong because the British promoter had offered him a fight against Derek Chisora, which would have been far better. Weird. I was a bit disappointed with that, said Hearn to IFL TV and react to the news of Ruiz having to signed to fight Spong. I've got to text the PBC guys. Has Ruiz left PBC? See, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, how can he sign with Triller and he's with PBC? Has he left PBC? I wanted him to fight Chisora. I thought that was a great fight. I'm a bit disappointed he's taking that fight, but it's in Mexico apparently. Spong was supposed to fight Usyk. Remember, I explained this on my show, and he failed a drug test on the week of the fight, which actually was disproven by Spong's team. They said he actually came back negative. Something weird happened there. Ortiz is coming off an exciting 6-round knockout win over former IBF champion Charles Martin. So, with all that being said, that's all the information that we have, currently when it comes to this situation. Nothing seems to be planned out because if you think about it, if you really look at the nitty-gritty of this, right? Triller had a specific date for Spong and Ruiz. So that means there was more cooperation from Andy Ruiz and his team with that fight being made than there was with Andy Ruiz and his team with Luis Ortiz. Because you see now, contractually, apparently he signed a contract. And I'm thinking, if you signed a contract to fight Luis Ortiz, wouldn't there be a fight date somewhere, on the contract or, an estimated time or, a range of when the fight would happen? Yeah, I would think so. But here, there's no official fight date. It says Andy Ruiz Jr. to fight Luis Ortiz in summer. So that's probably coming, the announcement for when it actually happens is coming. Then you also saw Triller say, hey, we had no idea. We respect PBC. We'll find a way to make sure that Andy Ruiz we're going to find a way Andy Ruiz honors his contractual obligations with PBC as well with us. So it sounds like to me, Triller's like, Andy Ruiz, what? This is so weird. I don't even know if that's the case. I think, me personally, I think Triller knew. I think Triller's in the situation right now. We know they're trying to really heavy get into the combat sports side of the game. They know, hey, let's get these big fights. Let's get these big fighters. I think they knew Andy Ruiz had that fight, and he was like, hey, let's just sign this contract. We'll figure it out. We have enough money. You can go fight Luis Ortiz, win, lose, or draw. You're still going to have the Spong fight. You're still going to be in Mexico with this. So let's just kind of put it out there. Let's put some fire to the feet of PBC. And let's see what happens. Let's see if we can really make this thing go. That's my that's my perspective or my guess to what may have happened. But this is such a weird situation. I would love to see Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. I was hyped for Andy Ruiz versus Tyrone Spong. I was a little disappointed when I first heard it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But at the same time, I talked about it enough, or did enough videos where I started to be like, Tyrone Spong actually can give him some trouble. We might be surprised. So. Let me know what you guys think about this. So apparently, to sum it all up, Andy Ruiz is going to fight Luis Ortiz first in the summer on PBC, and apparently at some point afterwards, because he already signed a contract to fight Tyrone Spong, they're going to keep him contractually obligated to that, and he would have to fight that sometime later in the year. What do you guys think about all this chaos, and who's to blame here? Like, this is a real, it's an amateur move by Andy Ruiz and his team, and how does PBC not know? How did PBC not know? Someone tell me. That doesn't make no sense. PBC had to have known, right? So if Triller, but I don't know, y'all. It's such a weird situation. I just wanted to go ahead and drop this news, give y'all my opinion on it. Let me hear what you guys have to think about this. Which fight are you more excited for? Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz or Andy Ruiz versus Spong? You're disappointed any type of way, whatever it is, whatever. Drop everything in the comments below. Show some love. Show me what you guys think. As always, subscribe to the channel if you're not part of the family. Black Goose family, as always. I love y'all. Enjoy your motherfucking Friday night. I know